Ozden Zeynep Oktav, a Professor of International Relations at Istanbul's Medeniyet University. Professor, thank you so much for your time. Can we agree that the US and Donald Trump is forcing Tehran to come to the negotiating table while Iran is weak?
Yes, I do agree with you, because this, I think Trump sees this an opportune time to maximize its demands from Iran, because as we all know, since 2020, Iran has been weakened a lot, and we know the intelligence of Iranian intelligence also very much got weakened by the Mossad especially, and apart from this, nuclear activities also very much weakened and spoiled by the many activities, many assaults of the West, especially the United States. In June 2025, 12-day assault, also very important. But something is different and very interesting in my mind, because Netanyahu paid a visit to Washington very recently, just to remind Trump that the Iran still building its ballistic missiles despite this 12-day assault and the war in June 2025. And later on, as you mentioned, now it is, I think, a general view that the Iran is at the lowest in its capacity to go into a war against United States right now.
But aren't the Americans setting up these negotiations to fail by demanding so much of Tehran? Surely they realize there are certain issues that Tehran will never agree to.
Agree. Yeah, because Iran wants the ballistic missiles, proxies, and the other enrichment of uranium also. Wants all of them off the table, just wants to discuss about the nuclear issue. But these are the things we saw very plainly. But the real reason behind the curtain, in my opinion, is about the Iran selling the cheap oil to China. This is my personal view, and many analysts also just defines the real reason like this, because just like Venezuela, also Iran sells, especially in 2025, a big amount of oil was sold by Iran to China, over 1 million barrels per day in 2025. On the other hand, very interestingly, in 2023, 2024, we cannot see any sale of the crude oil to China, but in 2025, it increased all of a sudden, and this is unacceptable, in my opinion, for United States. It is very open and very clear.
There are many people who are warning against a policy that pushes towards regime change.
Yeah, this is also...
And yet Israel would like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a way to exert pressure on the Iranian government and at the same time encourage the anti-government protesters without war? In other words, what other strategies could Iran's enemies employ?
Yeah, because this is less costly war, and neither United States nor Israel wants to go into a war costing very high to themselves, and therefore this is very clever way of bringing Iran to the knee or to toe, whatever you say. And but in my opinion, this is not a good way of making Iran consent to every maximalist demands of the United States by pushing the regime change, because Iranian people's psychology maybe just appear in just the opposite, because people it may lead to the consolidation of the domestic solidarity within Iranian domestic policy. But in my opinion, leaving aside the Pezeshkian, the issue is about the Khamenei, because Khamenei is a political figure just resisting against United States, and in negotiation table also Khamenei is playing very active role, or very resisting for the flow of the negotiations, or for the solution of the problems. The issue is that Iran is not in the orbit of the United States. This is the problem, in my opinion, because of Khamenei from Washington's perspective. But Pezeshkian more moderate, and but the final word is set by Khamenei. The political system of Iran is very much about the Khamenei's views. He says the final word over the destiny or the fate of Iran. Therefore, because Khamenei so resistant to United States, they want the regime change, or maybe the change of the leader. I cannot be sure very much which one is more suitable for United States, regime change or the leadership change.
And I also wonder whether Washington's allies in the Middle East, not necessarily because of their opinions and because of their geopolitical analysis, but because of their money and their oil, that Donald Trump might listen to them. I mean, it's quite incredible that a fair few of them have said, if you, Mr. President, want to enforce regime change in Iran, you won't use our territory to fly your planes or sail your destroyers and aircraft carriers and attack boats. They're extremely worried. They may be the ones who at the moment are actually protecting Iran in a bizarre way.
Yeah, although they have a lot of problems with Iran.
Yeah, of course they do, yes.
But because we are very much tired of war-torn territories, I mean, we are living, including Turkey, as a Turkish woman, and the professor, always we just lived in a war-torn area, and therefore none of the actors in the region, in the Middle East, or in the Gulf, whatever you say, never want any more war, I mean hot war in the region. So, but behind the curtain, all the actors, including Turkey, wants to come to an agreement in a way with the United States in the end of the day. Iran also wants to come to an agreement with the United States, but the issue is not about the Iran, in my opinion. The issue is about Russia, China, and who will dominate the Eastern Mediterranean and the Gulf and our geography. This is very important, but I don't think that Trump will go into a war against Iran despite the demands of its allies in the region, especially Egypt or Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. It will, I think Trump will be more willing to find a middle way, I mean, to come to an agreement with Iran with one condition. This is the preventing Iran from selling cheap oil to China. This is a very important issue.
Quite incredible. More than 100 years ago, they used to call this the great game, right? There's
great
so
game,
much more involved.
Nothing changed, actually, remains the same. But the United States doesn't have an energy problem. It is also a big energy actor, as you know. But the problem is that to prevent China from growing as a global actor.
Professor Ozden Oktav, thank you so much for coming in and looking at that, examining it and analysing it for us.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.